Number 10. Beast. Alright, yes, he looks absolutely ridiculous. I'll admit that. When I think of two-headed monsters, I usually picture two separated heads on one pair of shoulders. But Beast does one better by putting two heads stacked vertically on one neck. Well played, I think. Basically, Beast is an android created by the now extinct race of bird people, who were a subspecies of Inhumans. They created Beast to have one head with the knowledge of warfare and the other with the knowledge of culture. I figured having a head so cultured he'd be able to avoid most conflicts, but that doesn't seem to be the case. His first appearance was in Incredible Hulk number 169, when Hulk and Harpy visited the avian city of Eri and were captured by Beast. He makes a fitting villain for Hulk as his strength rivals the Hulk's. He does not get tired and he feels no pain. But like most two-headed antagonists, his heads can't seem to get along, always giving Bruce an edge. Number 9. Wendigo. Wendigo is, and I quote, "an indestructible force of nature having been made by the gods." But these are the elder gods of Canadian folklore, so that makes them so much better, eh? The curse of the Wendigo has affected a large group of different people, and essentially happens when a human consumes other human flesh. Ick. Different versions of Wendigo and packs of Wendigo have fought against Wolverine, the Canadian team Alpha Flight, and obviously against the Hulk multiple times. The Wendigo curse turns whoever is infected by it into super strength wielding, nearly indestructible, furry, human consuming monsters. And they are nothing to croak at. Strength capable of lifting at least 75 tons, super speed, stamina that could last several days, durability that could withstand repeated strikes from the Hulk, a healing factor, and immortality as long as they are afflicted by the curse. If it wasn't for the whole consuming people and being a monster, the curse doesn't sound too bad, honestly. Number 8. Absorbing Man. Carl Crusher Creel, a former boxer, became the villain known as Absorbing Man by drinking a potion given to him by the Asgardian trickster Loki. Carl here has the ability of omnimorph duplication, which is essentially the ability to take on properties of anything he touches, living, inanimate, or even forms of energy. Absorbing Man was originally a villain for Thor, but at this point a ton of Thor's villains are also Hulk villains, so... The Absorbing Man's first fight with Hulk in Incredible Hulk number 125 showed him absorbing Hulk's power before being depowered when Hulk reverted back to Banner. But this was far from their last encounter, and the Absorbing Man has grown and learned how to do more with his power. For an example of how scary this guy can be, look no further than the Immortal Hulk comics in issue 36 specifically. Creel turns into a gamma-powered sandstorm. Number 7. Juggernaut. Cain Marko, the avatar of the god Sidorak. Cain is a Thor-level threat to the Marvel Universe, wielding the abilities granted to him by the Gem of Sidorak. Juggernaut has almost limitless super strength and stamina. He has a nearly invulnerable force field, he's immortal, and when he does somehow get damaged, he has a ridiculous healing factor. His main ability, however, is irresistible force embodiment, meaning once he begins to advance in a certain direction, it is virtually impossible to halt his movements. Guess who is one of the only characters to actually stop him? Thor! Yes, but shut up! Hulk! Hulk was one of them when he was War Hulk. Gosh, I gotta stop getting ahead of myself. Number 6. Nightmare. A mysterious lord of fear. Nightmare is basically an unstoppable demon capable of capturing the astral form or spirit of a person while they are sleeping. Nightmare has been shown to be capable of subduing 2 Earth demigods, an Eternal, and an Elder God. That's the kind of power we're talking about. But you can solve any problem when you're an impossibly strong green monster made of pure muscle, right? Nightmare manages to capture Hulk's mind and send him on a rampage against Dr. Stephen Strange. Luckily, the good doctor was able to contact Banner inside the Hulk's mind. I don't really know how one does this, but Banner transformed into the Hulk inside the Hulk's mind and fought off Nightmare. They've clashed a few other times, like when he took off Nightmare's head and stole his horse. Again, I don't know how it works, but it is what it is. Number 5. Onslaught. After Magneto used his powers to rip the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, Professor Xavier snapped and shut down the mind of Magneto. In the process of this, Xavier absorbed all the anger, grief, and lust for vengeance from Magneto's mind, which molded with every long suppressed negative feeling the professor had endured during the last 30 years. This resulted in a personality forming within Xavier, known as Onslaught, that would eventually separate to become a separate entity all on its own. Onslaught was incredibly powerful, and all the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four could not take him. That's when Bruce Banner's Hulk said, "Hold my beer," and told Phoenix to turn off the Bruce personality inside his head. She did, and the Savage Hulk beat Onslaught so hard he destroyed his impenetrable armor, allowing Thor to land a massive blow and the heroes to take the win. Number 4, Thanos. Thanos is an interesting one, and we're talking without the Infinity Gauntlet. See, he is exceedingly strong, so much so that he can stand toe-to-toe with Hulk, at least at Hulk's base strength. Thanos tends to have the advantage in most of their conflicts, using his intelligence and martial skill to take the win more often than not. We see an excellent example of this in the MCU's Infinity War, even if it was a stupid excuse for Hulk not to show up for the rest of the movie. The two of these guys have traded wins pretty evenly, but Thanos has the advantage in my mind. If you have the time, check out the Thanos vs. Hulk 4-part story. It's a cool story involving Annihilus, and it leads right into Thanos the Infinity Relativity, which is also a really fun read. Number 3, Armageddon. This is the only character on this list I had not heard of before. Let me know if it's the same for you, but Armageddon, or Armageddon, is the warlord of the Trojan Empire and is also one of Incredible Hulk's greatest enemies. Armageddon first appears in Incredible Hulk number 413 as the ruler of the Trojan Empire, and has incredible superhuman strength and durability. But he differs from most Hulk villains in that strength isn't his main power. No, Armageddon has the ability to channel and release huge amounts of cosmic energy through his body. Armageddon blames Hulk for the death of his son, Trauma, and when he captures Hulk and forces him to power a machine to revive his son, Hulk overdoes it, and the machine instead completely disintegrates Trauma's body. Yikes, dude. Armageddon sorta not really gets his own back in Incredible Hulk's 632, when he poisons Rick Jones and She-Hulk and throws them off of an aircraft high in the sky. They were fine, and it mainly just led to Hulk using the full scale of his World Breaker Hulk power to pummel the Cosmic Warlord almost to death. Number 2, Kang the Conqueror, Rama Tut, He Who Remains, Nathaniel Richards, Kang the Conqueror, a big time Avengers baddie, and our next MCU major villain. Of course, if we're talking about Kang the Conqueror, we're going to be talking about time travel. While these two have done battle while Hulk was in the Avengers, in the Incredible Hulk number 135, Kang kidnaps the Hulk and sends him back to 1917 to take out a guy known as Phantom Eagle, who was supposed to destroy a giant German mortar cannon that could take out one of Bruce Banner's own ancestors, meaning that the Hulk would cease to be and the Avengers never would have formed. I kind of feel like Kang could probably just do this himself, and in more ways than going back to 1917 and destroying a cannon that would destroy an ancestor of the guy who becomes Hulk. But what do I know? I don't know. Instead of taking out Phantom Eagle, the Hulk accidentally takes out the mortar cannon by himself, sending him back to the present and sending Kang to the limbo. A different kind of fight, but a fight nonetheless. Number 1, the Void. In the comments of the last video, I saw someone comment that Hulk has fought the Sentry, and that is very true. And Sentry is an exceedingly crazy powerful character, but I didn't want to cheat and use a hero for this list like I've done before. Instead, I looked a little deeper. The Sentry, Robert Reynolds, has an interesting trait to his character called the Void. The Void is Robert's internal, eternal nemesis, a destructive embodiment of all Robert's negative aspects that has the power to destroy the world and even potentially the universe. Now, even in the very first appearance of the Void, the Hulk was there, and they did fight a little, but in the Sentry number 3, the Void shows up separate from the Sentry and it fights the Hulk and breaks every single bone in his body. It's intense.
Kicking off the list at number 10, the Ringmaster. Issue 3 of the Incredible Hulk back in Volume 1, we see the Hulk take on the Ringmaster. Will the mighty Hulk be a match for the Ringmaster? Well, apparently, yeah. He takes on a whole circus of crime who, might I add, do not have any superpowers, but right off the bat, the human cannonball gets the Hulk quite good. The human cannonball, just a regular guy with a makeshift hammer. This dude's spine would fold on impact if he cannonballed into the Incredible Hulk, so already I'm upset. And then it gets worse. A regular guy with a fireman's hose blasts the Hulk, and then he goes down, this time for good. I mean, I know the Hulk's mind was being toyed with here a bit, but the fact that a crime circus was able to best him in the first place, not okay. Not okay. Number 9. Doc Ock. In Eric Larson's 1992 Spider-Man run, issue 19 titled Revenge of the Sinister Six showed us a more powerful version of Doc Ock because he had new fancier arms. In fact, the whole crew had the jump on Peter at this point. He was for sure in need of backup. And right on cue, the Hulk smashes through the floor, just sending wood chips all over the damn place. Already such a mess. And he's coming in hot too. The Hulk says knock knock when he busts out of the floor. That is so badass. First he flicks Shocker out of the way, gives him the finger, literally, and then he tosses Mysterio back to sleep. And then when he goes to handle Doc Ock, he's caught off guard from his unbreakable arms with limitless power. Doc Ock had the upper hand, or 4 upper hands, I guess, in this case. And before we continue on with this list, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be awesome. No sweat, but it does help us out quite a bit. I'm not going to waste any more time. Thank you so much. You're the best. Back to this list. Number 8, the Hulk Killer. With a name like that, you already know how this one's going to end. Created by Sam Stearns, the leader, Hulk Killer first appeared in Tales to Astonish, issue 86. Some detectives are going through the leader's notes. They're finding out that he's created these humanoids, but the Hulk destroyed them all but one. This humanoid was built specifically to take down the Hulk, so the cops call in General Ross. They figure this ought to be an asset in some way, shape, or form for the government, but if only they could bring it to life, because, you know, what would possibly go wrong? So they bring him to life, and it all goes wrong. He just leaves, he walks right out of the building, not even fazed one bit by the bullets, of course. Then the Hulk arrives, they battle it out, and they break their surroundings, but Hulk Killer just simply absorbs all these hits. Next, Hulk Killer beats Hulk so hard, he reverts back into his banner form. It's embarrassing.
Number 7. Ironclad. When a team of 4 scientists tried to replicate the rocket flight that gave the Fantastic Four their powers, they were successful and became the villain team known as the UFOs. They immediately came into conflict with the Incredible Hulk. The bruiser of the team was a guy named Mike Steele, who became the villain Ironclad, gaining a metallic armored skin that gives him superhuman durability capable of resisting Hulk's punches, mass and density manipulation, and superhuman strength that was powerful but nowhere near the same strength as the Hulk, which causes him to resent the Hulk quite a bit. In The Incredible Hulk number 305, Hulk comes into conflict with Ironclad and the UFOs in another dimension. When Hulk and Ironclad ram into each other to start the fight, the force of it reverberates along the pathways leading from the crossroads to an infinite number of dimensions. They shook the multiverse. I am shooketh. Wow, the Hulk is just incredible, isn't he? But you know who else is incredible? That's right. It's you guys. Because of your mere existence, I get to spend my days making videos for you to watch. And the more you like, comment, and subscribe, the more videos we are able to give you. It seems like a pretty fantastic trade-off. Thanks, guys. Number 6. Fang Foom. He whose limbs shatter mountains and whose back scrapes the sun. Fang Foom is part of a race of shape-shifting aliens from a world called Kakaranthara, or the much easier Maklu 4. Foom was the navigator of a spacecraft that landed on Earth in ancient China, and he volunteered to be put in a tomb in a deep slumber to serve as a backup plan for the other Makluans to conquer Earth. Fang Foom looks a lot like a kind of humanized Chinese dragon when he is in his natural form, and is massive, shapeshifting from anywhere between 32 to 255 feet. He has super strength, stamina, durability, and longevity. He has telepathy and flight, spiritual possession, energy assimilation, acid mist, and potential transmogrification abilities. He has fought so many heroes, including the Hulk, multiple times. Specifically though, I want to bring your attention to the Hulk vs. Fang Foom comic, where during the altercation, Hulk threw the massive dragon-looking alien to the moon, yelling, "Just leave!" Number 5. Abomination. As a longtime adversary of the Hulk, of course the Abomination has to pack a serious punch. Emil Blonsky was a KGB spy at the Gamma base during the Cold War. Wanting to be like the Hulk, he exposed himself to a greater amount of gamma radiation than Bruce Banner, but it didn't exactly go the way he wanted. Emil has a lot of the same abilities as Hulk. Super resistant to damage, can breathe underwater, a healing factor, and can travel huge distances in a single bound. Unfortunately for Hulk though, Abomination is actually twice the base strength of the Hulk, and he retains his intelligence while in the form of Abomination, which he is permanently stuck in. He has a deep hatred for the Hulk, being beaten by him so many times, and has teamed up with many other core Hulk villains, specifically General Ross, to go after the big green Goliath. Abomination first appeared in Tales Tales to Astonish number 90 in 1967, and thanks to Shang-Chi, we know he is still active in the MCU, so let's hope we get to see him return in a much bigger way. Number 4. Red Hulk. General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross has been an obsessed and long-time adversary to Bruce Banner, even before he became the Hulk, literally appearing in the very first Hulk comic. When the Hulk emerged, Thaddeus made it his mission to hunt him down. But when his daughter and Bruce Banner's love interest, Betty Ross, died, and Hulk was exiled from Earth, General Ross was both grieving and purposeless, until the villains MODOK and the Leader convinced him to join them to take on the Hulk when he eventually returned. They siphoned off energy and power from the Hulk and gave it to Thaddeus, turning him into the Red Hulk. With almost all the same powers of the Hulk, plus some that are unique to him, Ross is an incredibly powerful character. He has easily killed the Abomination, defeated Odin Force Thor with caveats, obviously, punched the Watcher unconscious, and killed an Elder of the Universe. He can control his transformation to Red Hulk, emits gamma radiation as heat that gets hotter and hotter as he gets angrier and angrier, even becoming an explosion if angry enough. He absorbs energy, usually gamma, but has absorbed and stolen the Silver Surfer's power cosmic, riding off into the distance on his silver surfboard. He is an incredibly powerful villain and has gone on to become a hero. Number 3. Surtur. We mentioned the MCU in the last point, but I thought I'd go full force into it. In Thor Ragnarok, we get to see Hulk attack Surtur, the fire giant, as he is destroying Asgard with the Twilight Sword. It's actually really awesome. So he has fought Surtur, but how would that go in the comics? That's a good question. Well, we know that Surtur's main purpose is to beat Odin, so he is at least on Odin's level. You know who else is on Odin's level? Zeus. And Zeus and Hulk have had a bit of a scuffle once upon a time, which didn't go well for the Hulk. But then again, you take one of Hulk's more powerful forms like Worldbreaker Hulk or Heart of the Monster Hulk, and Hulk takes the win every time. Number 2. Galactus. He's a cosmic being who goes around eating planets, and he thinks he can try to come to Earth and pull that nonsense? We have a Hulk. Earth's dinner menu is no longer available. Oh, just kidding. The Hulk has not won against Galactus, and they've never really had a one-on-one fight. It's safe to say that of all the heroes on Earth, Hulk is maybe one who could make Galactus notice him though. But that's likely as far as it will go. Just like with Surtur, in theory he could win if he got angry enough, but we just haven't had an example of that. And it would have to be quite the insane level of power for Hulk to take the win. Hulk does actually become the Herald of Galactus at one point when he becomes Worldbreaker Hulk in What If World War Hulk, and it is just insane. Number 1. The One Below All. In the Immortal Hulk storyline, Hulk is transported to the Below Place, which is the realm of the One Below All. Now, just to give some context, in Marvel Comics there's a character called the One Above All, who hasn't really been seen all too often, but it essentially is the equivalent to God, or the Creator. Now we have gods like Odin and Zeus and Thor in Marvel Comics, but this is different. It is like the God of everything, the supreme ruler of creation and compassion. It's even been represented as the writers of Marvel at one point, to give you an idea. So the One Below All is the antithesis to this, the personification of destruction and hate. The One Below All is trapped in the Below Place and manifests in realities through Gamma. Basically, this means that Hulk and the other Gamma mutated beings have fractions of the One Below All's power. In an alternate future, it would actually take over Bruce Banner's body and use his power to devour the cosmic entity Eternity, and eventually it would eradicate all life in the multiverse. Luckily, this is prevented in the Immortal Hulk storyline, but I'm telling you, go read this. Number 10, Maker. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Ultimate Universe is awesome. Hulk in this universe is actually quite a bit scarier, at least to me. You know who else is scarier? Reed Richards, the Maker. The Maker is the Reed Richards of the Ultimate Universe, who is evil. He's part of a group of superpowered beings alongside Hulk, Human Torch, Kang, and Quicksilver, who are called the Dark Ultimates. They are essentially villains together, and Hulk and Maker are actually kind of on the same team. Maker actually battles Hulk in a more psychological way, when he calms one of his rampages and convinces him he's being used by S.H.I.E.L.D. After a whole whack of confusing comic booky stuff, the Ultimates all team up and save the day, and then travel the cosmos hunting down the Maker. Number 9. The Leader. It's a great name, honestly. The Leader. Nice. Rightfully so too. This guy is one of the Hulk's oldest rivals. Samuel Stearns was a janitor at a chemical facility where he unfortunately also had an incident involving gamma radiation. Samuel's gamma mutations gained him a super genius level intelligence, along with some telepathy. He also has the gamma ability of self-resurrection. There is actually an instance in Immortal Hulk number 39 in which he physically consumes the intelligence of another man, Brian Banner. But we don't know if this is a normal ability or a kind of mental representation of him consuming another person's knowledge, since he was in the below place at the time. The leader fights with Bruce on so many different occasions, but the Immortal Hulk story is the one I'm really into right now. You should check it out if you haven't before. Number 8, Maestro. The Maestro is technically Hulk himself, only an alternate version, one who lived through a nuclear apocalypse. He has the intelligence of Bruce, but basically double the strength of Hulk in his base form. He has easily defeated the Hulk several times, and his existence as a possible future version of the Hulk scares the hell out of Bruce himself. He is what would happen if you took the Hulk and made him evil and power hungry and powered him up. In his timeline, he rules over the megacity of Dystopia, where the remnants of humanity live, and he overthrew the former ruler Hercules not through pure strength, but through deception. He is powerful, ruthless, and just a pretty rude dude. Well, here we are. We meet again at the end of the 8th point. You know how great you are? Pretty great. When you gingerly press upon that like and subscribe button, it lets us know that this is the kind of content you like to see. So, thanks for doing that. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook too. You can find a little extra content. Alright, let's carry on, shall we?
Number 6, Zax. Making its first appearance in the Incredible Hulk issue 166, the Thing from the Dynamo was originally the result of an accident that happened at Edison Nuclear Power Plant. When a group of criminals tried to power off New York City, it went south, the toughest gang in town, shutting down the power during Game of Thrones. That's truly, truly awful. Keep it up, guys. So guns started blazing and it caused this massive chain reaction in the atomic reactor, and then this living energy then absorbed them, and then soon took a humanoid form with a villain voice as well, of course. Zax absorbs the electricity from its victims' minds as well, so it gains their thoughts. Hawkeye comes in with a convenient foam arrow. In fact, Hawkeye's aim saved the day here, but they don't give him credit. They actually give the Hulk the credit, which is pretty rough. But don't worry, Hulk got what was coming from Zax when General Ross merged with the living energy and then beat down Hulk and Rick Jones. Ross was actually about to finish the pair off, but Zax's personality came back and then he flew off. That was a close call, Banner. A little too close. Number 5, Brian Banner. The father of Bruce Banner was honestly a pretty horrible guy. He killed Bruce's mother is honestly pure evil, and he of course was locked away for 15 years afterwards, and then when him and Bruce reunited down the road, Bruce accidentally killed him. Yikes. Now this isn't the end of his story though, because during the Chaos War storyline in Incredible Hulk's issue 619, his dad comes back as a Hulk demon who would get stronger the angrier Banner got. Now obviously this is a traumatic experience, going down memory lane can hurt quite a bit, so this demon Hulk dad would have finished off Bruce if Jarella didn't step in to save the day. Bruce has the brain and Brian's got the pain. The Banners are a wild bunch. Number 4, Horfin. Born the offspring of a frost giant and Fenris, Horfin first appeared in the Incredible Hulk issue 422. When the Warriors 3 and the Hulk were going after Agamemnon, they followed them to Singard Castle. Horfin was created purely to guard this castle, so now the Hulk has to fight a frost wolf. And this is pretty intimidating because when the frost giant Singard himself unleashed his Horfin, the order was to kill the Hulk right off the bat. No warning, nothing. Just go eat him. Bye, go. And it did. Yeah. I did mention this wolf was incredibly big, right? What a snack. Number 3, Pitt. Image Comics introduced Pitt in Youngblood issue 4. It was their version of the Hulk. He's an alien-human hybrid created by the Creed as a literal death machine. So 5 years later, Marvel gave the fans the ultimate battle and released Hulk Pitt Reality Check. This was just 50 pages of punching and smashing and kicking. It's exactly what you would expect and want. But Pitt remained on top for the most part of this fight, and you gotta include Image Comics whenever we can, because Pitt is a treat. He's also drooling and jacked. He's just a nightmare. I would never want to deal with him.